because the governor at that time was a Democrat who was running pretty tough on gun control. So they knew that like militia, Second Amendment, 3%er people would be there. They knew there'd be protesters and probably cops, and their idea was, hey, if we can pop a couple of shots, maybe nobody knows who's it coming from, and everybody just starts shooting each other. Maybe that's the beginning of the Boogaloo, D-Day. But I will also say that what I learned through time of being in the movement and working those types of cases and developing sources of information afterwards is that when we were doing the base and there was Adam Waffen, that was kind of like the two main accelerationist groups. Everywhere else it was kind of considered cringe. By the time, let's just say a year or two after we took down the base, like we were being told that 90% of your white nationalist groups were all claiming accelerationism. And that's not good. And also, in most accelerationist groups that I was aware of, if you scratch the surface enough, whether they say they're pagan or the Christian identity, most of the ones I interview were pagan, but that's not to say that they're pagans for real. Just like white supremacists take the Bible to come up with the stories for Christian identity, which is not Christian, it's not Christ following, it's called Christian identity. It was totally white supremacist. They were doing that with paganism. I've got good friends who are pagans, peaceful, spiritual people, and what the white supremacy movement was doing with that, kind of like Hitler, he was looking at Norse mythology and stuff like that as well. They're taking it and twisting it to their own ideology. But what we found is if you scratch enough in a lot of these groups, there's usually a member of Order of Nine Angles, or there's some other groups out there now, and those are heavily satanic white supremacy groups. And when you look at Order of Nine Angles and others of that nature, they are big, at least they're proponents of, and if you get into their chat rooms, you're going to see some horrific stuff because they're big on sexual abuse, rape, and pedophilia.
Oh,
yeah.
Like big on it, like how or why? Like
advocating for it.
How do you, but what's the justification there? I didn't.
Fortunately and unfortunately, I didn't get to infiltrate one of those groups. But yeah, I mean, this is coming out more now. It's just satanic stuff, man. You know. So if I'm painting it into the siege culture, which is that accelerationist view, probably when the Boogaloo happens, they're saying they're just gonna rape kids and women all they want. Because people on the base said that. They were like, hey, because I told them, I'm like, hey, I ask, hey, I see we're always talking about this. We're going to get our own ethno-state. We're neo-Nazis. Yeah, bam, 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 bam. I haven't heard you guys talking about getting our own compound or getting our own ethno-state. I haven't heard any of you guys talk about procreation for the white race. You know what I mean? And I've got a woman, but she's not being shared. So, and that's when the two of them were like, oh, we're just going to rape the women. And I went, and I smirked, and I looked at the one guy who had a girlfriend, and I go, you guys don't have a lot of experience with women, do you? And they're like, well, what makes you say that? And I go, that might work for a little while, but at some point you're going to have to go to sleep, and you might wake up missing a few parts.